Morning, everyone. I am behind today, just trying to get everything done before we head out of town. And Corey Jean and Punch, or Ashley, will be competing at regionals in Charlotte, USA Powerlifting, making the attempt to qualify for nationals. And so we will be leaving tomorrow after work for Charlotte, driving as far as we can, and then getting up super duper early and headed the rest of the way in so we can coach them and scamper back after Punch is done and drive as far as we can. And we'll probably end up spending the night somewhere and drive in Monday morning so we can go back to work. So anyway, a couple things that I wanted to talk to you about, or I'm just going to talk and just kind of let it flow as I normally do. But a couple of things that I have seen of late with some of you and some other people that I don't coach that just kind of confer with me, so to speak. And the problem that arises is confidence and the inability sometimes to kind of own the weight, if that makes any sense. I'm going to use someone in particular that I coach, that I've been coaching for a while, who has done very, very well, but has, as far as the mental game goes, we've got some work to do. And so I'm not singling him out, but I'm trying to help him, and I'm also in that effort trying to help you. I confer with my lifters a lot, about how they feel or what they see, or just kind of get a feel for where they are mindset wise. And Jennifer's always a great example because this is someone that has been a two-time IPF world champion. And the interesting thing about her meets is she kind of flew under the radar under the first one, and we had a great game plan, and that game plan worked exceedingly well. I wouldn't say that it was easy. It's never easy at that level, but it was one of those where we planned it, we worked it, we did everything we were supposed to, she executed, and it all flowed. Whereas this year, there were problems all cycle with health and a few other issues, and it just never came together, so to speak. And I'm making a very long and involved story short. And then come game day, again, if you'd have told me she'd have been 3 for 6 going into the deadlift, I'd have thought you were, one of the things that Jennifer's really good at is making attempts, but, it's just different. But the end result was still the same. So now how is that possible? And one of the things that I've asked Jennifer about, and I really wish like we had video going, whether it be chatting on Facebook Messenger or talking in person, because there's a lot of things that get covered, especially with her. And then Melissa, the thing about Melissa is that she will tell you she's not mentally tough, but I've seen her come game day, just really pull it together and really dig in. And even at Strongman Nationals, she got second, and lost her composure. Lost it, but pulled it together to get a second place win and finish a competition that she didn't want to continue. And so mental toughness, how do we prepare for it? How do we get it? Because there's some people that it just seems to come natural to, and others it doesn't. But I think one of the things, and I asked Jennifer this, people have a fear of being great. I'm, a great writer, a great teacher. It's like we will work hard to obtain a level that we feel comfortable with. Like Harry, a 400-pound bench press, and Harry worked really hard, and a lot of times, is training by himself most of the time. So that's a big get, to be, I'm home in my home gym in a power rack, and no handoff, and he bench presses a lifetime PR of 400, which that's really impressive. And then we'll have trouble sometimes with reps with 50 pounds less. And you're like, how is that possible? And so confidence is a big issue. Now, how can a guy that benches 400 not be confident at 350? These things tend to, just like when everybody's making great progress, it's that whole ebb and flow conversation that I've had with you before. When things are flowing, everything is everything is working out. Everything that you do is working in a synergistic manner. Everything's firing all cylinders. And when it's not, you have to be willing to dig in. That's what I'm always saying. But that's when you also have to pay the most attention, because like with Harry and some of you others, man, you face a little bit of adversity and you're a little quick on the trigger to go, I'm going to bail on this lift, instead of learning how to grind it out, learning how to get out of your comfort zone and dig in and get a lift. Now, I know the first question or the first statement somebody's going to exclaim is, but I don't want to get hurt. And nobody wants to get hurt. And if you're trying to lift maximum weights, that, you're already taking that risk. But I'm going to tell you, this is the difference in being average or even good to becoming really good and potentially great. And those are very hard things to do, because think about how hard Harry had to train to get to 400. To get to 425, he has to go through all that process yet again, and probably even more. There comes a point to where it's like, now we have to break the lift down even more and adjust certain things, address certain things, and in the process of addressing any weakness or any issue, everything that's strong, we have to continue keeping it strong. You can't just ignore it because, I've got a strong lockout, so you ignore lockout. That you can't do that, especially as the level of skill and strength go up. Also, that window of making a mistake narrows, and that's where Harry's at. I wouldn't say it's a crossroads. It's just a different level. And so he's at that point to where he's got the capacity as a raw lifter, to total 1,600 pounds, which is extremely respectable. But what's he got to do to get to 1,650, 1,700? And the process is, I got a letter from John Grove, an email. When I first broke into the 900s and was well on my way to a grand, he wrote me an email, and I've never forgotten it. And he told me, he goes, strength is pretty relative at this level. John, I know John had squatted in the 900s. I honestly don't know if he ever broke 1,000. But one of the things he told me, he goes, the United States, and the world for that matter, is full of strong 800 to 850 pound squatters. And he goes, they're also strong enough to squat 900. However, their strength does not match their ability to overcome their fear of the weight. And I thought about that, because the first time I attempted to squat over 900 pounds, I want to say I squatted 890 in the gym, and I was super confident. And then I went to 915, 910, 20 more pounds in it, on the 890. And I'm about halfway down, and I'm thinking to myself, what in the world am I doing? This weight could kill me. As if 880 couldn't, do the very same thing. So I understand the mental hang-ups, and how do I get over 600 pounds in the squat? How do I not change my form when I go from a 500-pound deadlift to a 600-pound deadlift? And so there's some relatively simple answers. They're just, again, not very easy. The biggest thing that I find is when people get to that threshold, when we get above 90%, they start changing things. And I'm not talking just about the technique. I'm talking about form things. And again, this isn't just the act of lifting the weight, it's the approach. How they get on the bench or how they get into the bar, and we start taking more and more time as the weight gets heavy. And those inconsistencies is the beginning of where the issues happen. The other thing is that you have to embrace the adversity. One of the things I tell my lifters in the gym, you struggle a little bit and you have an ugly rep or two, but you dig in and you get it. You have to have those reps, because the art of grinding or overcoming an obstacle is an art form, and it is learned. You have to experience it. I'll go back with Jennifer. Jennifer was one of those lifters, amazingly strong. She's and super, super fast. Sorry about the focus. But early on, if she didn't come out of the hole or off the touch point or off the floor super fast, it would be super fast to the end of the lift, to where she would pull halfway, it would come off her chest, she'd come out of the hole and boom, shut it down. And I told her one day, now I would love to tell you, because I said something to her that it changed it for her, but one of the things that I told her, I said, you will have to learn the art of the grind to get to the next level. And she posts a video every year of this squat that just is excruciating to watch. But that was a game changer for her, and she never looked back. So there's times when you're going to get out of shape, and what you have to do, it's a word I use with my lifters all the time, and it was one of the words that we've used with Jennifer at big meets, and that is composure. Don't panic when something goes wrong. You know, if you miss the weight, you miss the weight. You know, just you do everything you can to be safe. But as soon as it happens, gather yourself up. You know how to do, like Harry, for instance, was declining this morning. Man, first 3 or 4 reps, you're like, I can't even imagine what's going wrong. And then you would see it. He would get way out of shape, and the first set hits the 5th rep, and instead of, like, you know, gathering himself in, he racks it. And that is a lack of confidence. And here's how you get used to that. You got to go back. Jennifer has a great analogy. You have to become the mayor of Scarytown. You have to be willing to get back under it and go, you are not going to win. Remember, weight is not intuitive. It's not intelligent. It is just stupid weight, you know, and all it's going to do is be weight. So the bigger issue is what we can fix is we can make ourselves better simply by our approach, by not letting it win. And so this is the reason why, for some of you, because we've done, let me back up. We've done the thing where we backtrack a little bit and then build back up, and we've done that 3 or 4 times with Harry with different things, and we back up 50 pounds and he blazes all the way through the sessions, and then we get to a threshold and he crumbles. So what are we going to do going forward? We're going to stay in Scarytown. He's got to get, if the title of his log is even close to correct, as he pursues trying to total elite, we gotta be out of our comfort zone. And that's, you know, 350 for a single, while that may seem impressive, is not near a 400-pound PR, and it doesn't break the PR with 405, and it doesn't get him to where he's going to need to be to have that elite total, and that's not 400 pounds. And so the thing that I would do is encourage you to find ways, and we're going to add some things and take some things away to create the environment and the atmosphere that is necessary for Harry to overcome his fear, because that's what it comes down to. You know, is he becomes afraid, and there's nothing wrong with fear. What there is something wrong with is that the fear is dominating and dictating how he responds and how he acts and how he performs. So let that soak in. I'm going to do some more thinking about it. And again, I want these videos, you know, when I post them, I don't know everything, and I don't cover everything. I mean, all this is just off the top of my head, and I'm shooting from the hip, so to speak. So some of it may be jumbled in the thought process, but let's talk about it. Let's, everybody has their grand, whether that's literally squatting a grand or squatting 200. The process is the same. The desire, the want, and the goal is the same in how we get there. So there's no lifter that is not lifting enough weight to be part of the conversation. Everyone has their grand. So the more discussion we do, you never know what phrase or word or encouragement will trigger someone to go past that point, of having an issue and becoming better. That's the name of the game. My goal is to make you and help you become a better version of yourself. All right, let's chat. Have a good day.